Every time something happens in the industry, it's one of three companies. And I'm sure if you've looked at the thumbnail to this video, you know which one it is. I wasn't expecting this boycott Blizzard to really gain any steam, but I'm actually kind of surprised. I think it's going to be very interesting on how awkward it's going to get at this coming BlizzCon. I also wasn't sure if I should really be making a video on this since I don't want to stray too far away from gaming topics. But when someone does something so stupid that you can't help but to say something, then you're going to get videos like these. Anyways, I'm Verumbra, and let me just ask that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell and smash that like button if you enjoy the content. And with that, let's get on to the topic. Now, I guess before I get too much further into this, I need to at least briefly go over what the Hong Kong protests are about, at least for nothing else for consistency's sake. Okay, a few months back, there came up a problem for Hong Kong extradition policies, or the lack thereof. Now, upon realizing this, the Hong Kong government decided to make a bill to fix this. However, this would also give China the ability to spirit away anyone that they very well pleased to be tried over in China for whatever reason they want. And you would see how the citizens of Hong Kong really wouldn't like that, considering that China's favorite human rights violations are just making people disappear whenever they don't agree with them. Fast forward to where Blizzard decides to royally screw up when they decide to ban Blitzchung and take away his prize money for deciding to use his victory interview to show his support for the Hong Kong protest. And it wasn't just him that got punished. The casters also got terminated as well, even though they had nothing really to do with Blitzchung's statements. And very soon after that, a call to boycott Blizzard Entertainment's games came out on Twitter, and from there it just went downhill for them. Even so much as trying to make one of Overwatch's characters into the very symbol of the Hong Kong protest to try to just get them kicked out of China, which I do find slightly funny. But at this point, Blizzard has been crowned the undisputed king of worst game companies in the history thus far. I'm not too sure if we really want to go down any further. But what's the first statement that Blizzard gives as the king? Well, this piece of garbage. Now, there's going to be plenty of videos highlighting on what this letter says. So I'm not going to bore you with trying to just read through it. I'll leave a link so you can read through it in all its glory. The summation of it is, we're confident that our relationship with China hasn't influenced our decisions at all. What it should really say is, sorry, we don't care about human rights as much as we do our relationship with China and the money they can give us. Look, Blizzard is obviously trying to play both sides, and is really just pissing us all off. And they deserve every little bit of ridicule they're getting. And I'm looking forward to kicking back and watching the dumpster fire that BlizzCon is going to be this year. The problem of Chinese money in the gaming industry, and hell, just in America and Western countries in general, presents a troubling prospect. Because China investing in our companies does very much change how they view our freedoms and our culture. And I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say this, which China's doing this on purpose to erode what control we have over our own countries. But China doing it on purpose or not isn't really the problem here. It's just the fact of the Chinese market is so alluring to companies, not just for the sheer size of the market, but of how much more exploitable that market is compared to the Western markets, that it really strips any power that individual customers really have, because boycotts aren't really effective unless if you can tell the company to really go fuck off. And that doesn't really work whenever they just have a constant supply of money from another market. Well, What are we supposed to do as customers really then? I mean, the best thing that I can come up with is reward companies' behavior that align with what our country's values are and make the market as hostile for those companies that want to get into the Chinese market as we can. Because over time, it will push them to become Chinese companies and they'll eventually just give up on the Western market. But outside of that, we really can't do much to stop them. Most of all, that power is done through government and usually through tariffs. I don't really want to make this into anything that's political, but I really do hope that this boycott pushes Blizzard further away from the Western markets. Because honestly, the company needs to go. It doesn't care about its customers. It doesn't really care about anything other than just making as much money as it possibly can. It is the worst incarnation of corporate greed in the industry that we really have. But anyways, if you've made it this far, thank you, because this probably has not been the most entertaining of videos. I will have more videos. Right now I'm working on finishing up the next installment of the Warframe series and putting together some reviews and some guides. So hopefully you'll stick around and check out those in the future. But with that, I'm just going to let you go.